Thanks for the help.
Remember, despite what the package may say, never flush flushable wipes. Sincerely yours, the Village of Cary.
My name is Xander, and I want to personally thank you for watching my PSA, No Wipes in the Pipes. When I reached out to the Village of Cary about their needs for a public service announcement, which I created for my Boy Scout Eagle project, they didn't waste any time sharing with me the problems they're having with flushable wipes. The entire team that maintains Cary's wastewater facility are remarkable people for their knowledge and work. They really opened my eyes to a problem that affects all of us financially and environmentally. To get a true perspective on what this problem really looks like with your own eyes, Cary's Wastewater Heroes opened the doors for an exclusive tour to show all of us what they battle every single day to keep our water and food sources safe and our environment clean. Here's what they showed us.
So if you don't mind me asking, what is the overall purpose of this place? What do you guys do here?
We treat the sewage for the village and make it so that it's of sufficient quality that we could discharge it into the Fox River without damaging the river and make it unusable for downstream users. Okay. Really, ultimately is what this is. We protect the environment. Yeah. And we do it quite well. We do above and beyond what the EPA requires us to do. Yeah, I mean, that's the primary purpose right there. Okay. Yeah. Otherwise, the river would be an ecological mess. Yeah. Because it's not just us discharging. You got Fox River Grove and all the other municipalities upstream. All the sewage for the Village of Cary, from residential and commercial, comes together and it flows into this structure here. It's actually coming in through this way from a pipeline right there. It's a 32-inch sewer line that comes in. And it flows through our homemade bar screen here, which is a very coarse screen that we manufactured to try and catch some of the wipes.
If you want to step over there, you get a much better view of it. I would put the great down on it.
This has to get raked a couple times a day. This is just a small drop in the bucket of what we get in here.
Okay, how deep do you think that is?
I mean, you can't really tell, but the grade is a couple feet.
Okay. See that rush of water? Yeah. All of that was blocked by rags. We refer to all these flushable wipes and anything else, but primarily the wipes is rags, just an umbrella term. That flow is measured in our system. So that flow is not as accurate as it needs to be as a steady flow until we pull these rags. The flow rate kind of gets jammed up for a little bit until we can pull these. So that's pretty far down grade.
Yeah.
So you can imagine how full this bucket gets when it's that wide and that deep. Yeah. About twice a day, primarily, we get to this, but as often as we can as well. Like Matt said earlier, we got a lot of other things to do, and these things are the primary cause of all of our headaches. So we got a picture of me elbow deep in a sludge pipe because of a ball about as long as this wall along in the basement of that building. Now you couldn't see those rags at first, right?
No.
Now you can. Now you can see where the flow is evening around and lowering. But that's just how much of a wall those rags were causing.
Yeah.
And they still go down deep, obviously. I just haven't grabbed those. But you can see how nice and steady the flow is now and not backed up.
Andrew's going to show you some of like how it gets hung up right over there. And you can see like these are like, it's a lot.
That's where it's a problem.
So eventually that'll break off and come down this way.
That's where it's a problem.
See everything that gets on there? This is a wipe right there. So I'd say 99.9% of that is just rags. Like the flushable wipes. Matt, what did you say estimate when we get the new equipment? How much we'll believe we'll be pulling out?
It could be from what we saw at the plant. I think it's like a 2-yard, 2.5-yard dumpster. 2-yard dumpster a day, possibly.
A dumpster a day. Is what so that's what you're seeing here is a small amount compared to that. So like daily, we're not even collecting it all just yet. So like it's more than what you're actually seeing is going through the system. You know, so that's the big thing about it. You know, it's like it's got to go somewhere. You know, so like Matt had said, it goes to the sludge where it gets dried out, and then that gets put back onto land applications for food for livestock and animals. You know, that's where it's got to go. Otherwise, it gets ground up so small that it might go through to the river, which is downriver from us. There's other municipalities, towns, villages that uses the river water, and then they treat that to make it for drinking water. Because I think what you're flushing down is it might possibly be going towards where someone's going to be using it for drinking water and other things like that.
So we saw a little bit of it back there, but what big problems do non-biodegradable products, wipes, and products in general cause for this facility?
For the facility here, it hangs up like it can plug up. There's a pump in the basement of the grit building here. It quite often gets plugged up with those items, and we have to clean them out. We ended up having to get new pumps for our return station over there because they were getting plugged nearly every day. We had to get some expensive pumps that were capable of basically just passing through the regs. Not removing the problem, it's just dealing with the problem. So it can hang up on flights. We had balls of them get when we had that snap freeze in December, whatever. We had some of the balls of them get frozen up, and when these flights ran, it broke a bunch of flights. So, and that gets into the thousands of dollars right there. Pumps clogging up all the time in the digester. The digester is going to have to get cleaned out again, and that runs into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's all just because of these wipes. This is called the primary clarifier. Here, anything that will settle as far as organic solids, human waste or whatever, the pipes just kicked on, will settle out. It's a lot of sludge in it, but you might be able to see there's a lot of wipes and rags mixed in with this, like some candy wrappers. But a lot of flights got broken here because big balls of rags got frozen up down at the end here. You see some wipes there, and up in here. Basically big Archimedes screws. They lift the sewage up to a higher elevation. You see the wipes, they get slung against the wall, so the wipes do make it this far into the system. Now we start getting into real treatment. Here, what you're looking at here, this brown, is actually our biomass. This is what does the main treatment. We add a lot of air via blowers in the building there, and the bacteria start to eat the sewage and all the organic materials, all the good stuff. See, there's rags, they build up on there. Start to hang up on the probe, start dissolved oxygen, then they can wrap up over the probe, and then it gives SCADA some bad information that it can interfere with the processes there too. There's a pipeline running underground here, and it's going to head into those areas. It's a different style of basically what's happening here. It's the older tanks, and treatment will continue over there. You see more rags. We put these in just to try and help catch rags. Anywhere we can try and catch them, get them out of the system. This is where the rags really start to become a problem. You can see them clumped up on that probe right there. They happen there, they happen in the other probe. The rags actually stick together into ropes and agglomerate. That's a $2,000 probe right there. It's got some rags hanging on it. You gotta keep screwing those off. they can break away and then go into the clarifiers and plug up the clarifiers, and then it becomes a real problem. If you want to go back out that way, guys, we'll go up to the clarifiers. Right now we're operating clarifier 1 and 2. Now you can see that's quite a large ball of rags right there. We call them rags, the wipes. They've now stitched themselves together into big wads. Eventually they'll break off and they enter into the clarifiers. And the clarifiers, there's holes on our collection arms, and then it plugs them up. That becomes a problem. So every day we come around, we have to flip these out. In here, the flow becomes very still. The solids will settle out and go out the bottom back to the system. They go around again. That's how we do treatment. The clarified effluent over the top weirs will head out through disinfection and out to the Fox River. So this is basically second to the last step. Anything that makes, so you see some drags right there, they've made it past the baffle. Beyond this point, there's no stopping it out to the Fox River. It's all dark in here. Don't be scared. You see here, more rags and wipes. They've made it pretty far into the system here. Everywhere you go, you gotta keep pulling them off. They don't break down.
How much money would you say like is spent on like trying to like take care of these like wipes? Or like
I couldn't a dollar amount. I'd leave that to John. I don't, but it's a matter of labor. I know a good portion of our time, because it's not just here, it's also in collections out in the system. There's lift stations and jetting of sewers that needs to get taken care of, and that's a different department with that. But collectively, it ends up being a lot of money. I know we spent $20,000 on new pumps. What did we spend to have the digesters cleaned out?
I think that was $275,000. We spend, I would call it, probably 2 man-hours a day.
Okay. Yeah.
And the cost of the village for the 2 man-hours is probably a couple $100 a day to pay for the labor to have this stuff removed away we're putting out, just here. The equipment damage and things like that, we get damage to equipment. It probably costs the village $25,000 a year minimum.
Before the wipes even get here, do they cause problems for homeowners?
Certainly, yeah. They plug up sewer lines, and it's been happening more and more in the village, and people end up getting sewage into their homes.
For homeowners, that costs money too, right? Like, how much would you say that costs to just get that removed?
The problem with the homeowners, when we're talking about these flushable wipes that are non-biodegradable, that we're, those will flush as we, but they don't break down, and they're very fibrous. And if they do make it through the toilet or down the drain, then they have to get out the homeowner's sewer line. And what we're seeing is an increase. Those are very fibrous, and they don't make it out to the village sewer. Maybe not. If they start to build up in there, that's when the homeowner starts to have a backup inside their home, and they'll have to have a plumber come out or rent the equipment, and you could be talking and rod that line out. They're going to basically push all that material out into the village main. But on the homeowner, you get a plumber come out. I would imagine that a minimum, if they have a backup in their home, is a $500 just to have a plumber come out and then rodding. It could be, we've seen cases where they have to do excavations, and it could be thousands, but a minimum of $500 for this type of material getting caught in their own line. Then the same thing, if they get it out to our main, it can lay in our lines and get caught, and it builds up and causes backups, which can cause a backup into the homeowner, which is a mess. Now we average, I want to say, Cary has about 75 miles of sanitary collection main to bring all the waste here. We typically experience about, let's say, 75 backup calls a year that we respond to. For many years, there might have been out of that 75 2 that were a mainline blockage. that would cause us to do some sort of an effort with our equipment to clean that line out to reestablish the flow. Last year we saw that increase where probably of the 75 calls, 35 of them were back up on the village main caused by what we call blockages in this case. Where it used to be a couple calls a year required our efforts. Now it's half of the calls we get, we're seeing a village main line blockage. We're also seeing calls when homeowners have probably typically call us first, we check our system, and then if it's not us, then they're the ones we're seeing those calls increase too.
That's just the calls that the village doesn't get. My parents live right up there in Brigadoon, and theirs backed up twice in 5 years because of that. Because of the homeowners prior to them that had little kids and used flushable wipes. My parents obviously don't have kids until they're 4 years old. So that just kind of gives you an idea of how many issues that aren't even yet occurring in houses that had previous owners with small children that use flushable wipes. Or anybody that uses flushable wipes. I use them to clean things, certain things too. I obviously don't use them down the toilet.
Even when it gets through, are there like microplastics or anything that could also cause environmental issues?
Sure.
Like down the line?
Sure.
Like the future?
Well, those microplastics, we're just not going to be able to catch those. Anything, if you threw a plastic tooth pick down the toilet, and it happens, it gets broken up in the system in smaller and smaller pieces, and eventually that's going to make it out to the river. It's either going to end up in birds, fish, out to the oceans, you know, who's to say. But yeah, it's getting out in the system. And I know they've talked about microplastics getting, might be the next big thing. But the other thing is, when it gets to our sludge that we dry, that goes out to farm fields. So that's where most of it's probably going, is into the sludge. And then it's getting into feed for, livestock. And then it's getting into us.
As you've just seen for yourself, flushable wipes cost the village of Cary hundreds of thousands of dollars. They can cost you thousands of dollars in home repairs, and the wipes you use do make it to the Fox River, where they continue to cause problems for animals and our human neighbors who actually use the river for drinking water. And you know what? All these problems related to flushable wipes are easily solved by doing one small thing. Dispose of your wipes in a trash can. Don't flush them down the toilet. I'm here at Lions Park along the beautiful Fox River, and this right here is what we need to protect. Believe me when I say, I like a clean bottom just like the next person. So you don't need to stop buying and using flushable wipes. I'm just saying, keep them out of our pipes. Thanks for watching. And if you happen to watch this video before the actual PSA, then make sure you watch that one too.